Hello, it's me, from editing. So, first of all, I was sick for the last few weeks, and I did this recording while I was sick. So if I sound a bit scuffed, or even worse than usual, it's because of that. Second of all, I finally set up a proper Discord community server with the link of it being in the description. You will get your Twitch notifications, you will get your YouTube notifications, and hopefully chat. That's all I wanted to say. Now, enjoy the video. Remember when I made this video? Well, time for me to be a hypocrite again, with 8 subclasses I really want, one for every class in this game, since today I really felt like being creative, instead of putting my stupid opinion out there. But how did I go about this? First of all, I tried my best to do something that is not just a carbon copy of another archetype, and then I decided to create some icons that would fit these custom archetypes. Third, I don't want them to be good, I just want them to be unique. Let me just say, coming up with unique archetypes with a game that is already 4.5 years old was really hard, but we will see how well at it. Keep in mind, this video will pretty much be a collection of fun ideas, that I do not have the resources or tools available to make something fancy like custom animations or gameplay demos. Well, then let's start with the beginning of all things, the Vanguard class. My idea would be the Spotter Vanguard. The trait of this archetype would be mark the first enemy hit. Every time a friendly unit hits the target, gain 1 DP. When the target is defeated, gain 1 DP and mark the next enemy hit. These Vanguards would be deployed on high tiles and have a 4x3 range, same as a sniper. I thought it was a supportive Vanguard type, which is able to apply debuffs to mark targets by generating DP with the help of allies, instead of being the sole generators of DP. Skills for this archetype could target multiple enemies, applying a debuff over a wider area, or enhance the debuffs they apply with their mark. Now I really wish I could be able to show you these concepts, but like I already mentioned, I don't know how I would be able to do that.
Well, as it turns out, I will just be showing you how I would want it to look in gameplay. So, we can go with that.
So instead, we just move down the list, and we go to the guard class. And then it's hard to come up with an original guard archetype, because we already have so many of them. In the end, I came with an archetype I like to call Retaliation Guard. The trait does the following: will only attack when attacked. If this unit is not blocking, can attack an enemy in attack range. This archetype is meant to be more defensive, also having potential to do a lot of damage, especially when confronted with high ASPD enemies. This archetype would have 1 block, decent attack and above average defense for a guard. In terms of traits, it could be increased damage based on damage taken, or reduced damage taken when it is too high, so like a maximum damage taken cap. The skills could be very similar to what Noah Altar's skill 1 can do, being able to deflect projectiles or attacking multiple enemies. So pretty much it being simple guard stuff while having this defensive and counter focus with it. And on to the defense side of things, with in my opinion a better take on the duelist defender archetype, I would like to call the Berserker Defender, which does the following. When HP reaches 50%, increases attack and change block to 1. While in this state, it cannot be healed for 10 seconds. When HP goes above 50%, go back to normal mode. This was a sort of last stand type defender. Like, there's one last strong enemy left and you only have your defender left. As it reduces the HP of the defender has a way to finish this fight off. Traits for this archetype could provide the Berserk mode of necessary survivability, either in the form of passive healing, damage reduction, or shields. And skills for this archetype would either increase their defensive capabilities, but for most they should focus on getting near into the Berserk threshold, but also prolonging the Berserk duration beyond the 10 seconds, or even increase the survivability. So we could have a skill that instantly reduces your defender to 30% HP, but still allows it to be healed. Something along those lines. While not allowing for more than 50% HP to be present. I think this would be like a fun take on it, and it might be better than a dualist archetype that is supposed to be the equivalent of Defender DPS. But now we take a look at some of our long-ranged options. And one thing I would really like to have is a gunslinging sniper. So I'd like to present you the Desperado Sniper. With this fun little trait. Will mark an enemy that attacks a friendly unit within this unit's attack range. Upon defeating a marked enemy, gain increased attack for the remainder of the deployment. For this, I just took inspiration from old Western movies. Having like this crime fighting and avenging type of sniper. This archetype would use hand cannons and revolvers to fight, meaning high damage but slower ASPD in return. That will include additional buffs for each marked enemy defeated, or buffs for the friendlies inside his unit attack range, or a simple increase of damage against marked targets, or armor penetration. And for skills, it could be anything that gives good amount of damage, like a Fan the Hammer. Increased damage against low health targets, specialized ammunition, so more armor penetration, more damage, or as a skill 3 lay like something like a High Noon would be kinda nice. And with this we are already halfway done. Let's go to the caster class, and the name being Contagious Caster, with the following trait. Attacks apply a DOT for a few seconds that continues to deal arts damage. When an enemy under the effect is defeated, this DOT spreads once to a certain amount of nearby enemies. So what did I want to create here? Well, this is a good question. A caster archetype was even harder to create than a guard archetype. Because there were like many different iterations of this, like, oh, how about we have one that literally just has a zone? Now, too similar to Splashcaster, how about one that has projectiles? Or like a deployable projectiles? No way, this just would be similar to Dronecaster. So I care of this. And I wanted to be like crowd control focus, and I think this would be like a good crowd control focus. And because of this crowd control focus that I wanted to put with it, decided, yeah, why not go with DOT? I mean, we still want to deal damage. And also there is like a lack of DOT archetypes in this game, so we take it. In regards to talents that this archetype can have, we can go with the simple slower binds, it'd be spread radius or resistance shred, like whatever a caster needs these days. And for skills, we can go with constructs that either spread the DOT, better spread and damage, maybe something like read altar skill 3, which is more deadly, or just zones of DOT. Who knows? Now we've come to the one class where I thought would be the funnest challenge for me, which would be the medic archetype. This is what I would like to say if I didn't come up with an idea in like 2 minutes. Introducing my own medic archetype, the Lifesaver Medic. With this fun little trait. Every time a friendly unit with an attack range falls to 0 HP for the first time, its operator instead recovers 50% of their max HP with a cooldown of a few seconds, meaning this would be like one trait that actually has a cooldown. It's pretty simple. I think that having a life insurance, especially when you have to hot drop something, would be a nice addition to this game. It also allows for a bit of riskier plays that otherwise would only be possible with like Silence Auto skill 3. Obviously there still would be like a few things that need to be taken care of, like Surta passive or maybe something like the Doorkeepers. Talents can be damage reduction with vulnerability upon trait activation, or additional heal after a unit gets saved and all of that. You can also add to that these medics would prioritize units that were recently revived. And besides that, spells are pretty standard medic. Burst healing, barriers, increased defenses, or whatever they have these days for, like here, give them damage. And with this, we only have 2 more classes left to go. If you enjoyed the video so far, yeah, consider liking and subscribing, it helps me out, I know the people are at least watching these videos. But let's kick these last 2 off with the Supporter Archetype, which I call the Hypnotist Supporter. The trait is the following. Attacked enemies will change their behavior. It will either attack other enemies, walk back, or stay still. This change will last for a few seconds. Elites needs to be hit multiple times. I had this idea because of Nymph's new status effect, so I thought that having an archetype around this behavior change would be quite funny. Obviously this would have some restrictions, like elites need to be hit multiple times for it to work, and bosses either being immune to this trait, or even taking like a lot more hits. I'm compensating a bit for my dumbass here, because back then apparently I couldn't talk. So talents for the Hypnotist archetype could include additional behaviors, or the simple debuffs that supporters usually provide. Skills are what is more interesting. You can have anything from multi-target, area of effect, or the affected enemy would turn into a deployable summon. Because why not? Give me the puppeteer skill. And then it's finally time to talk about the most unique class in Arknights. The most versatile class in Arknights even. The Specialist class. Since this class is already so varied, it should be easy to come up with something, right? Well, as it turns out, it also takes longer than you think. For a class that has so much variety, it was really hard. It was on the same level as the coming up with a caster archetype. In the end, I came up with the Adaptation Specialist, who have the following traits. Can be deployed on melee and range tiles. Attack range and skills will swap depending on the placed tile. I always wanted to have this more flexible type of unit. When you have operators like pushers and pullers who can already do that, they still behave the same depending on what tile they are placed on. So I thought that having like a hybrid unit between, for example, defender, caster, vanguard, sniper, support like guard, or whatever else you can combine would be the most interesting take for this archetype. Traits and skills would be whatever they decide to combine with the ranged and melee form. While this might be the most unlikely archetype to come into the game, since it's very similar to a class switch, which is unique and reserved for Armia, I would really like to see something similar to that. Or just in general an operator that has or that can have more than 3 skills depending on the circumstance. And this would be it. My collection of 8 archetypes I would really like to have in this game. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe as already mentioned. Other than that, if you have a archetype you would really want to see in this game, leave your ideas in the comments, and hopefully I will see you again soon.